5 insane things to come out of this Congress UFO hearing. So unless you've been living under a rock for the past week, you would have heard of this UFO hearing that's happening at Congress, where they have told us some pretty crazy things. Today I'm going to look through an article that lists 5 of the craziest things to come out of this hearing so that we can discuss them here today. So this is NBC News have put this article together. We're going to look through a few of the bits and then we're going to discuss, okay? So 3 former military officials told Congress on Wednesday that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it is telling the public. I mean, I've got to start by saying, well, water is also wet. You know, I think that's a very obvious thing to say. Of course, the government are keeping things from us, especially when it comes to the UFO space. But I also know that a lot of people have been saying, oh, this is a distraction. This is a distraction from other things. And it's like, I kind of get the sentiment because I know that distraction tactics definitely do happen. But I also feel like the whole UFO truth is something that people have waited for so long. And if it's getting to a point where too many people are coming forward and they can't hide it anymore, then it feels logical to me for this to be coming out now. Because otherwise, when will it? It never will. If you're always going to think it's a distraction thing, then in theory, you believe that aliens don't exist. Because if you think that the only reason that the truth would ever come out is a distraction, it's like an illogical loop in my mind. I don't know. Let's have a look at the 5 crazy things. So, the government is absolutely in possession of UAPs. David Grusch, I'm going to go with Grusch, a former US intelligence official, so a nice credible source, told the panel that he is absolutely certain that the federal government is in possession of UAPs, citing interviews he said he conducted with 40 witnesses over a 4-year period. The former US intelligence official said he led Defense Department efforts to analyze reported UAP sightings and was informed of a multi-decade Pentagon program that endeavored to collect and reconstruct crashed UAPs. Now, we obviously know from a few years ago, I believe it was 2021, was it? Or was it 2020? When the Pentagon released those 3 videos of UAPs where they were like, look, we don't know what these are. Obviously, unidentified aerial phenomenon. I know there's going to be people in the comments, but the thing is that they were convinced that it wasn't of this Earth because they don't believe that anything on this Earth has the technological capabilities to replicate how these things move. So, you know, the fact that this is saying here that there is a multi-decade Pentagon program, when we have received videos from the Pentagon, declassified, of aliens or of aircraft that we don't understand, it all starts to link up, doesn't it? Asked by Rep. Jared Moskowitz, DFLA, whatever that is, how such a program is funded, Grusch claimed that the effort is above congressional oversight and bankrolled by a misappropriation of funds. That's interesting. So what is that, like the money that goes missing actually ends up in the UAP fund? Does that mean that there is money in the budget that is set to go to a program but it doesn't and it goes to something else, Moskowitz asked. Yes, I have specific knowledge of that, Grusch said, though he did not provide more details, claiming the information remains classified. So that's really interesting. So from what I gauge, and obviously I'm not a professional, but what I'm seeing there is basically there will be funds in place while my camera is out of focus. Focus in. There we go. Thank you so much. So let's say, I don't know, I'm pulling this out of my ass, right? But there's $200 million that goes towards building tanks. I don't know how much tanks cost. That probably builds you like 2 tanks. But anyway, let's say there's $200 million here that's going to the tank fund. And then in the end, hang on a minute, only $125 million arrived at the tank fund. Where's the rest gone? It's been siphoned off to look at UFOs. That's what I'm gauging from this, which I think I'm right. I could be wrong. Non-human, this is what really interests me. Non-human biologics were found at a crash site. Grusch, who underscored that he has not personally spotted a UAP, told the panel that he knows of multiple colleagues who were injured by UAPs. He also said he has interviewed individuals who have recovered non-human biologics from crashed UAPs. Grusch said he prefers to use the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial. That's interesting, because essentially what could be happening is, I don't know, say the Russians have put some mind chips in some chimps that have allowed them to pilot technology that we don't understand, or they could be aliens, which is something that I would obviously lean more towards. Asked by Rep. Eric Burleston, RMO, to substantiate the crash UAP's claim, the former intelligence official said he could not divulge specific details, which is annoying, I'll grant you that, once again claiming the information was too sensitive to share with the public. I get that it's like, oh, if we told the public the truth, I mean, especially maybe the people that, you know, are really, really religious, thinks that the Earth is the center of the universe, that we were created in 7 days, or that there's nothing else outside of this planet, you know, I'm sure that would be horrendous. It would be, you know, it would challenge their very belief system, which I know would be difficult. But you can't wrap us up in cotton wool. 99% of the world, I'm sure, are kind of like, yeah, aliens probably do exist, let's be honest. And, you know, how is it too sensitive to share? Alien spacecraft have crashed here. Don't know how. They've managed to transverse the entirety of space to get here, clearly very technologically advanced, but as soon as the gravitational pull increases a bit, they lose all bearings and they slam into the Earth. Like, if that's there, then just tell us. We're ready. You know, half of us, oh, not half, but a lot of us are going to be like, it's a distraction. So, you know, it's not going to be this free-for-all looting, fear, explosion of emotion that I think these people think. Let's be honest. They're probably just going to be lots of memes on Twitter about it. So, anyway, he did, however, describe the nature of what he saw. I have to be very careful here, but what I personally witnessed, myself and my wife, was very disturbing. If that is the sum of that quote, I mean, that's being overly cautious. You've told us literally nothing. A Pentagon spokesperson told NBC News that Grusch's claims are false. Oh, the Pentagon are coming for him already. Officials must establish a safe and transparent reporting process. This much I do really agree with. Some lawmakers and witnesses pushed the federal government to establish clear channels to communicate UAP information with both the public and the military, and said the military should establish a comprehensive reporting process for unidentified object sightings. Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot, told the panel that military pilots do not feel adequately briefed on UAPs, which he said leaves them unprepared to respond to UAP encounters. That's very interesting. The former Navy pilot claimed the commercial airline pilots have spotted UAPs too. There has to be a safe and transparent reporting process for pilots both on the commercial side and the military side to be able to report UAPs. Now, I'm going to jump in here ahead of reading the next bit, which is a bit risky because I could end up with egg on my face here. But going back to the Rendlesham video where Ronnie was taking us around, and one of the things that he said was, you know, a lot of the people involved in this were hesitant to come forward about it because it doesn't look good and it's not career enhancing. And this is something that needs to be taken out of the equation, because we need honesty in these situations. Even if they end up being, you know, completely explainable, you can't have individuals not want to come forward because they don't want to hinder their careers, they don't want to come across as crazy, they don't want to lose credibility. Because, let's be honest, just looking at the logic of the situation, how big the universe is, right? There's stuff out there. There just is. There just is. So, on that basis, you have to allow people to come forward to say about these things and not hinder their careers, not hinder their credibility, not hinder them and their lives as a person. Rep. Virginia Fox, RNC, echoed the calls for more transparency. She noted that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, had previously told Congress that there was no credible evidence of extraterrestrial life. Come off it, mate! Grusch objected to Kirkpatrick's claim, prompting Fox to say that contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to inject transparency into our government. Stigma associated with citing silence as possible witnesses. This is what I was just saying. There you go, I jumped the gun. Some witnesses and lawmakers at the hearing argued that the stigma associated with reporting UFO sightings, as well as the alleged harassment of those who work to investigate them, may be hindering the efforts to determine their origins. Exactly. Let's stop mocking these people. If they're wrong, They're wrong. Who gives a shit? Why does it matter? People are wrong all the time. We can grow from being wrong. Graves told the panel that Stigma silences pilots who fear professional repercussions. I jumped the gun here, which he said is compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. The Federal Aviation Administration has no mechanism for pilots to report UAPs, and instead directs them to civilian groups that are often dismissed as the domain of cranks and conspiracy theorists. Those institutional hurdles led Graves to form a first-of-its-kind group that pushes for policy changes, serves as a hub for pilot whistleblowers, and advocates for more disclosure by the military and other government agencies. Lawmakers said they hoped the hearing could help assuage pilots' fears of speaking out. This hearing will not be the end of this discussion by a new chapter and start. We should encourage more reporting and more study of UAPs, Garcia said. The more we understand, the safer we are. Exactly. UFOs spotted accelerating to supersonic speeds. This is number 5 of our 5 crazy things. This is the last one. Here we go. David Fravor, a former Navy commander, said he and 3 fellow military pilots spotted a white tic-tac shaped object in 2004, hovering below their jets just above the Pacific Ocean. I'm sure many of us here have heard about the tic-tac. He claimed that the UAP then vanished, only to reappear a few seconds later, but this time it was spotted 60 miles away. Nothing can do 60 miles in a few seconds on this planet. Fact. Fravor told the committee that the technology he and his team encountered defies logical explanation. The technology that we faced is far superior to anything that we have had, Fravor claimed. And there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing. Now, before anyone in the comments who thinks that they know it all, which I know there's a lot of people out there, this is a former Navy commander. Now, if you are more qualified than a Navy commander, fair play, go off in the comments. But if you're not, a Navy commander just said that, and that's the crazy thing. That is the crazy thing. I believe there is more out there. I believe we have been contacted, and I believe we are in contact with aliens. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm totally open to being wrong. What do you think? Let me know down below. But this has been the UFO Congress hearing, which is fascinating. And it's amazing that we're having these discussions on such a platform now. Considering, back in the day, if you said this, you were crazy. You were crazy. Go away, you crazy little man, is what would happen. And then you turn out, you end up being a little hermit in a cabin in the woods somewhere. Not anymore. And I feel like these things are being loosened up. These things are being loosened up to tell us the truth. But I know there are people out there, oh, it's a distraction. Oh, there's going to be a human-led alien fake invasion to unite the world. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think an alien invasion would unite the world. I think that we are far too divided. So, I just don't think that's the... But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And hell, I would love it. I'd love the world to be united. And if that's what it took, happy days. But I don't know. What do you think? This is all just fascinating. And I also just want to say, I know a lot of you have joined because of the Rendlesham video, which is obviously very UFO based. There will be a part 2 coming very, very soon. We're filming that next week. We're heading back to Rendlesham Forest for some really deep investigating. So look forward to that. We're also interviewing Ronnie in a podcast format, so he can say all of the information that he has on Rendlesham, because I know that it was, very on the fly in the first Rendlesham video. We're walking around, whereas this time he can have his resources in front of him, etc. So what I'm saying is, if you like UFO content and paranormal content, this is the place to be. This is the place to be. Excuse me, I'm still ill. I'm still getting over an illness. I've been fighting a cough this whole video. So excuse me if I come across a little bit ill, because I am. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you. And, everyone that's joined recently, you guys are awesome. Just want to let you know, I have a Patreon where you can join for £1 or $1 a month. You get access to everything that is on there. And you get exclusives, lots of stuff that, a lot of people are enjoying. So if you want to join that little community over there, you can. I just want to give a shout out to my patron of the day, and the patron of the day today is Reese Mays. Reese, thank you so much for being a patron. I appreciate you. I appreciate all my patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, like I said, £1 or $1 a month. Lots of bonus exclusives. Thank you so much. I'll see you very soon. Sweet one. Goose.